Public Safety will come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Dion? Here. Councilor Washington? Here. Chairman Kavanaugh?
Here. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit this meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. We have citizens input time. Anyone that would like to speak? If they signed up, or can just come down at this moment now. Does anyone here want to speak for 3 minutes on this public safety meeting? If not, we'll call you down if we need you. No one? Okay. We want to, item number 2 is the minutes from August 24th, 2021.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve is made.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Any opposed? That would be impossible. Third item on the agenda is minutes from the October 20th, 2021.
Motion to accept? Second.
Motion made to accept and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And fourthly, we have a resolution, discussion regarding complaints from residents regarding noise generated from Fall River coin-operated car wash located at 1225 Dwelly Street. Is the owner of the premise here?
No, he doesn't live in the state. He lives in Colorado.
Okay.
I think.
You raised your hand. You want to come down and speak on this issue, sir?
Yes.
Come on down.
Let's see, we invited the manager,
He lives in Colorado. That's a long commute.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Glenn Hathaway, and Lieutenant Martin. Can't hear the dryers from there.
Somebody to speak to in the same situation.
What's that?
Somebody out there is going to speak to after me in the same situation.
All right, but you already spoke. Did you
I already
come-
spoke,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we understand where you're.
Oh, you understand?
So I don't think there's a need for you to, and
Oh,
you
I
could
pre-
if you like to, but you're definitely against the place operating under the conditions it's operating right now,
Oh, yeah,
correct?
I am totally again. This nightmare's got to go away.
All right,
That was Mr. Velho, is that John Velho?
John Ballard, correct. Yeah. So basically, do you gentlemen have anything to say, or just here to, do you want to speak on this before? Because he's already spoken out at the committee meeting.
I don't know what he's complaining about.
The
What
manager.
part of the noise is he complaining of vacuums or?
Both, it's, did you watch?
Vacuums have been there for 50 years.
Okay.
And we haven't added nothing new, so I'm really not.
Why don't you come down, sir?
Hey, the manager, I think that's
You run the place?
I do.
Super.
John Dunn.
So you're not from Colorado then?
No, I'm
That would
not.
be a long commute.
Wish I was, but.
Can you just give your name and address
John
for the record,
Duff.
please? John?
D-U-F-F, Duff, John Duff.
And your address?
Car wash at 1225 Dwelly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, do you want to tell us what your side of the story is, if these complaints are not legitimate?
I've been there 35 years.
Yeah, speak into the microphone, please.
35 years, never had a complaint,
Never.
ever.
Okay,
The 35 years I've been there. They've owned it for at least 50, the owners, the Wheelocks. Right. This lady moved in 3 months ago, or whatever it was. I've talked to the other tenants, actually, and neighbors and stuff.
yeah.
None of them got a problem.
All right, so for 35 years, no one's ever complained, but she's
Nope.
never been there for 35 years. So
She
she
just
moved in 3 months
ago or whatever.
Right, and so the stuff that she's hearing and witnesses is bothering her,
Right.
obviously.
Well, the thing is, and I told her, the other day, she come 10 o'clock in the morning, she's banging on my door.
Okay,
So I open the door, she goes, I want the number for the owner. I goes, well, that's not gonna happen, but if there's something I can help you with, I said, I'd be
Right,
more than
so-
happy to help you.
okay, so how do you plan on helping her? Tell us. What are you looking to do differently now?
I got signs all over the place, no loud music. I mean, the vacuums, there's really nothing you can do. They've been there for 50 years. She should have thought of that before she rented the apartment. I mean, that there was vacuums there for 50 years.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, she should have thought of that, is what I'm trying to get
Okay,
at.
but she didn't.
No,
So
she
now she has
didn't.
to live with it.
But she's coming over to me, and she's telling me she could have been a lawyer. She wants me to move the whole car wash over 25 feet. She says, I know the laws. So I said,
Okay,
okay.
well, we're not gonna get into the she says. I just
Well,
wanna see,
I'm just
my
saying-
question to you is very simple. What are your intentions to do to satisfy some of the complaints that the neighbors have brought to the council's attention?
Well, they're the only neighbors. Everybody else I've talked to don't have a problem. The guy in the back don't have a problem, the 2 houses across the street don't have a problem.
Okay.
I've talked to them.
Okay,
So they're the only ones complaining. Well,
Right.
she's really the only one complaining, I guess she's the mouthpiece, so she,
all right, let's try to be polite.
well,
No need
yeah.
to to categorize anyone. She has legitimate right to complain if she feels something to
Yeah.
complain about. And the city council's format here is, if someone has something that's a concern in the citywide, they come before
Yep.
us. She brought it to our attention, the council put in a resolution to see what we can
all
do.
right.
If it was happening to you, you'd probably want to do the
Well,
same
she don't say
thing.
nothing when the two little tykes are running in my car wash, climbing on my vacuums, I'm on top of the vacuums and stuff, and the parents are nowhere to be found, I'm saying. And they could get run over, I'm worried about these
It's
little kids.
dangerous.
Yeah. You know, she's
All right.
nowhere to be found, but
So
she,
my question is again, what do you plan on doing
we
to
put
satisfy the
we
needs?
put signs up. I shut the car wash, the changes down at 8 o'clock now, so nobody can get changed to vacuum or
it's-
to wash the car.
So at
Yeah.
8 o'clock?
So I'm losing money.
So 8 o'clock,
Yep.
nothing's going on?
No, well, if I can't stop somebody coming in. If somebody comes off the street and they're not a customer, I mean, they just want to come in and, I don't know, do what, play loud music or drink or whatever they're doing, you know? I
We
don't
can't
know.
have no loitering signs up there?
I got them up.
And
They've been up
so
there.
we can do something about that. If there's no
Well,
loitering signs.
well,
we
I've
can
talked to the police officer, and actually, he's been coming by for like a week now.
Yeah.
And I just talked to him today, actually, and he says he documents, every time he comes in, he documents it.
Yeah.
He says, if you guys want to look at it, you can look at it. He says, never had a problem. He said, I've been coming in for at least a dozen times. He sits in the yard, hangs around.
So you're saying it's closed at 8 o'clock? No one,
Right.
washing their
8
cars?
8 o'clock, I shut the changes off. You can't get quarters to wash your car. No.
you can't get caught, but can you
Yeah.
still wash your car if you have your own quarters?
Well, I guess if you have your own quarters, yeah, you could.
Well, I mean, it's not a guess question. It's pretty simple. If you
Yeah.
have your own quarters,
Yeah.
can you wash your car?
Yeah, you could.
So you could,
Yeah,
so you're not
right.
shut down at 8 o'clock. You put.
Well, I shut the changes off and I'm losing money. I got customers coming in saying, hey, we can't get quarters,
Okay.
so they're not
What
washing
time do
the
you
car.
turn it back on then?
It's on when I come in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so it starts at 7 and it
Yep.
closes at
Yep.
8 o'clock. They can't get changed, but if they have their own change, they're fine.
They could get,
Till
yeah.
what time
Till what time, what?
can they use the car wash? I have.
Since I've been there 35 years, it's 24 hours.
Okay,
It's
so
always
it's
been
24 hour
24. Every
car
car wash in the city is 24 hours.
Okay. All right, and vacuum as well.
Yep.
Okay. Do my colleagues have any questions? Okay. We can do it. Just push it to you.
The owners, you were saying they live in Colorado, do they own other car washes?
Nope, this is it.
This is just their
Right.
only one, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna see if they had similar complaints at their other car washes.
No, but I've talked to other car wash like Sonny's and they got problems too, but it's the element, you know? I mean, really, it's kind of tough to 24-hour surveillance on the place.
Thank
but-
you, that's it.
All right. Michelle, Council Dion?
In terms of the volume, the loudness of the vacuums,
Right.
do we know, because I think the only thing we really honestly have any jurisdiction over would be if the decibels exceed the sound ordinance, in which case the vacuums would have to be shut down at either, it's either 9 or 10 o'clock,
Right.
the ordinance.
Right. I don't know the decibels, no.
Do
I
we
won't.
have the ability to measure the decibels?
We'll ask the chief and we'll ask the, Mr. Hathaway when he comes down. But I'm sure we do.
I would
been
like
done
to
before.
think that
Yeah,
we're able to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, if we can go check that out and see.
Now, I don't remember, and I can't address this to you, this would be the two complainants,
Right.
whether they had an issue also with the car wash itself, with cars going through the car wash at night, is if somebody were just to pull in,
Yeah,
go
that
through the
don't-
car wash, not hang out, just go
Yeah.
in, wash, and
The
drive
wash,
away,
the
is
wash
that an
itself,
issue?
right, the wash itself don't make any noise, so. that
Okay.
one.
So basically, I'm sorry, guys. Do you?
So essentially, I guess their complaints are loud music, people hanging around, and the vacuums. Again, which is a
Yeah,
noise,
right,
which
right.
is a noise issue.
Right, I guess that would, yeah,
Okay, with that, I yield for now.
Yeah. All right, do you have anything else to add, sir?
I do now.
Do you want to come down and address now some of the things we brought up? You can come down.
Mr.
You can both come
Chairperson, Mr. Chairperson,
You have a question, Councilor?
while I put the resolution, in.
I apologize. You can speak first. Hold on. Good evening. Hold on, before you take the floor, I'm going to have Councilor Pelletier file a resolution and say a few words, or ask a couple of questions. I apologize, Councilor, I forgot.
Thank you.
Councilor Pelletier?
Well, I live up the south end as well, and we did have problems there a little bit. It got fixed up. But the problem now is, you can wash your car 15 hours a day. There's no need to be open at midnight. You should close at earlier time. Now, you say you're not going to put the quarters in. They'll bring their own quarters.
Right.
And I suggested to you, if you close, that you chain it off. That'd be a better way.
To
It
chain the
says-
car wash off, you're saying?
Yeah, chain. The chain, piece of chain. They're gonna, why, you think it's crazy? Put a chain there?
No, but, I mean,
You can hook it up, they're not gonna go in. Private property, don't come in. You're closed. If the chain's not there, they're gonna go in and try to wash the cars. You know the problem is, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, they play their boom box, they don't care. They'll play their music louder than the vacuum just to hear the music. That's part of the problem. Then their friends come in, you know, they're swearing
but
about.
if they're not customers.
Excuse me.
Hey, don't talk
Stop,
to me.
stop,
You
stop.
don't
Listen,
even
excuse
want
me.
to talk
So,
to me.
sir,
Don't even go there.
listen.
Well,
No, stop.
Talk to
Listen.
him.
No one's gonna speak, the council has the floor. Please don't do that again. Don't talk. We will control the meeting. Only speak when you're asked to speak. Is that correct?
got
Does
no
everyone
problem with
understand that? Because if not, we will have you leave and we will solve the issue ourselves.
There you go.
Thank you. Council Pelletier, you still have the floor.
So I went over to talk to you. He says we're putting signs here, we're putting signs here.
Right.
You're not gonna give them quarters anymore.
Right.
All well and good. But the problem's still there. It's at 10 o'clock, there's city ordinance. From 7 to 10, there's no, what, 7 to 10, 10 to 7? 10 to 7, 10 to 7. You're not supposed to be heavy equipment or anything else, make a noise. You do. I know you are 24 hours, but you're hurting the people around you. That's the whole thing. And to try to resolve this, I know the police department did come up, the chief somebody up. I'm sure they're gonna be talking in
Yep.
a few minutes.
Yep.
But, again, the people are getting aggravated. The landlord is saying that he's losing, tenants as well. So we're just trying to get this squared away so everybody can be happy.
Oh, I understand
But
what you're saying.
night shift is no good. There's no supervision there. There's nobody there to watch anything going on. You don't know what's going on. You know, you just hear the complaints and we hear the complaints. So we hear the complaints from the lady, and then we have the landlords come in with complaints. We're not just gonna sit here and let it die. We gotta come up with a solution, a resolution to make it work. Now, you say you're gonna not put quarters in after
Yep.
8. Well, lock the doors at 8 o'clock. That's all you gotta do. I mean, you know, or put somebody in there. Put somebody in to cover at night. It's probably not worth it to you. How many people go up there? And like I said, you got 15 hours to wash the car. You know, if one of the kids would go there, say, I decide, listen, I'm not gonna go there, I'm gonna wash it at my mother's house in the yard at 12 o'clock at night, and I'm gonna blast the radio and do this. What do you think's gonna happen? He ain't gonna do it too long.
No.
Well, it's the same thing. That's somebody's mother, the landlord and everything else. It's not right. That's why I brought it up. They brought it up, and we gotta come out with a solution. You gotta come out with a solution, and that's it. And if we can do this and try to fix this up, it'll be great. But the chain is no big deal. You think that's a big deal? What the hell's chain? Costs nothing.
Yeah, but
All
it
the
ain't
car
just-
lots.
It ain't just putting a chain, you gotta put poles in the ground, I mean, it's not just put a chain over there, I don't know, there's no fence or nothing, so you'd have to have
Well,
something
you
to
know,
put
you
the
gotta
chain
invest a
to.
little money. He's been there 40 years, 50 years. Tell him to spend a little money to safeguard the people in the area, that's all. That's all we're trying to do. What the hell's a piece of change and a few pipes? You know, I'll get you the pipes for nothing.
There you go.
I'll go to the
All
junkyard
right,
and get
there
you the
you go.
pipes. Then all you gotta do is get the
You
chain.
throw in the
and be all
chain,
set.
we got a deal.
All right, I said enough. You know the idea. I thought you were leaning towards trying to help the neighborhood, but to me, it's just not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
we'll listen to these people and the report from the police department, and the
Yep.
committee can decide what to do. But from 10 to 7, no good. No good at all. I yield.
Thank you, Councilor. Council's time frame is 10 PM to 7 AM.
Right, right, yeah.
Just so I make
yeah,
it clear to everyone.
I
Do you
understand.
want to say anything to what the council just said as far as the
Nope.
chains go?
No.
Okay, thank you. You want to add something, ma'am? Respectfully speak into the microphone, please. And try to just
Sorry.
focus on the subject. We don't
Yeah,
wanna
I'm
get
going to
into
focus on the
personal. I understand
subject.
there's a lot of
So
tension
I
here
never
between
spoke with
neighbors.
this gentleman because
Please talk about, give me your name and address first.
my name is Vanessa Aruda, and I live at 1227 Dwelly Street on the first floor. I moved in June of last year. He never saw or heard me before because I couldn't complain because I was bedridden, because if you remember correctly from last time, I I said that I had a procedure done, and I was in my bed until September. So can you imagine recovering from cancer, had your kidney removed, and I'm bedridden with this going on all summer. So yeah, I'm even inside just thinking about it, I'm shaking all over.
Okay, well, we'll try to
Someone
resolve
at
it.
the city council, someone at City Hall recommended that I spoke with this gentleman. And I was like, he kind of has an attitude. He doesn't know how to speak, as you very well displayed
You
here
came
this
over and
evening.
talked to me.
So one day, 7 o'clock in the morning, and the music's playing, there's two guys out there talking over the vacuum, and he's just standing there. So I went over there, and I asked the two guys, and then he tried to insult me and say, he didn't want to hear it, it's been there for 50 years,
We're
many
not gonna
people
go,
have tried.
please stick to
Okay,
this
well, I am
focus.
sticking to it. So
I
then
don't wanna
he
go
had the
into he said,
whole
she
car
said.
wash laughing at me, okay? What you hear outside, because keep in mind, you're outside, you got cars going by, you got the water going, you got vacuums
It's a car
going,
wash.
you got radios going, and two people talking over. It might not sound that grievous outside, but when you're in my bedroom, it's like a bomb has gone off. So he says, I have pictures right here, 12:30 at night, because I take them from my
No,
bedroom window.
We don't need to see it, we understand. We
But there's
understand.
cars there, 12:30 at night, so when he's saying that they're not
No,
there.
he's not denying it, he's saying he
I'm not
shuts off the
saying
coin
that
machine.
Okay.
So he wasn't denying those cars there.
He's been sitting there talking with his friend, and 6:30, and people are vacuuming, so he doesn't even get out of his car to say anything to the people. The first time in a year that I saw this man say to something, I was in my window, it was already like 7 o'clock in the morning, and my window was way up, because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, people still can't hear me. So I do like this, and then somebody can see from another vacuum, and I go like this,
Okay.
and they come over.
right.
So all of that's going on, but I want to play something for you. Okay, so you guys can really hear this. Let me look. Because he says it's no big deal, but it is a very big deal.
While she's finding that, do you have anything you want to add, sir?
I'm laying in my bed. But I'm in my house, laying in my bed.
You can shut it off now. We understand the noise.
Right, so I just feel like he makes light of the subject,
Yeah, okay.
and it is very close, and his whole thing is, it's grandfathered in, the police ain't gonna
Never
do
said
nothing.
that.
And
It's quite all right.
one of my big things is, okay, I was called by the police department, I called the police department because a lieutenant, well, she might not have been a lieutenant, she called me to say that they were working on this. Then she told me that she looked it up herself, and there's only been 3 complaints in 3 years. And I said, that's a lie. That's a lie, because I know I've called probably 30 days, 30 times in the sorry, see this state that I'm in?
Yeah, I understand. But
This
we're
is
trying to
from-
resolve it, and we don't need to be accusing people
I-
of saying things that are not true, so we're
Well,
going to try to get to the.
This
bottom.
is true, because the police called me,
Yeah, but
and
we-
she told me that there hasn't been complaints lodged in, and I said, that's not true, because I personally called. Then I called to speak to the chief myself, because I want to know, if I'm calling, why am I wasting my time? Is there something going on that I'm not aware of? Because police don't show up. If they do, 3 hours, 4 hours later, I don't know, because I don't see them. And then I was told that there was only 3 calls logged in 3 years. So a lieutenant called me back, and he had the same question. Why is there only 3 calls? Because when I call, and I think any citizen here in Fall River, when they call that emergency line and it says it's recorded, you feel like your complaint is being logged, correct? Do you think that that's just there saying that, and that's not logged?
Yes,
Because
it's-
that's the
it's
case.
not being logged, it is
Yeah.
saying.
Well, see, I didn't know that, and most people you talk to don't know that. So if I'm calling, I want to know what are the avenues that I have to go through to have that
I think
documented?
it's a formal complaint. You have to make a formal complaint for it to be lodged as a
So
formal
if I'm
complaint.
calling and
Nobody
so what do? I go to the police station every time to make a formal complaint?
We'll find out what the procedure
Okay.
is, all right? Thank you so much. You can go back
Thank
to
you.
the seat now. Thank you. Do you have something you want to add? Yeah, speak into the microphone.
I'm surprised that the owner's not here, because all he is a worker.
Right,
lives
so,
in
but
Colorado.
he's in charge of it. The owner lives in
the manager,
Colorado,
yeah.
so I don't think,
But
I'm
he
not-
can
I'm not,
make
sup-
different
I'm
plans.
not surprised he's not here. I understand, but at least he sent the representative,
No,
which is fine.
I got something to say good about it.
Okay,
He keeps the place clean. I don't have things bad about the guy.
okay.
I just want the noise to go away.
I understand.
That's my problem. I'm not against him.
Right.
Because
No one is.
he's working, that's his job.
I get it, sure.
And he's afraid to go tell them to shut it down because he might get, you know.
Yeah, no,
shot.
it's not an easy
He's a
job.
family guy too.
I
I have
understand.
respect for this guy.
Sure.
But I know he looks at me different because he sees I'm a complainer. I'm not a complainer. Listen, I lost 2 tenants last year. Honestly, I did. I lost 2 tenants, 2 good tenants.
Yeah.
And you know, I asked him, was it me? Was it my fault? No, it's just the noise.
Yeah, we understand. Okay.
And that's really doing the job on me.
Thank you.
Sorry, and I thank all of you
No,
for
no,
doing your
it's
job.
quite all
and
right.
I appreciate it. And I'm sorry if I offended him,
Yeah.
but, you know, I'm here, I want that place. You know, I don't want to, if they wash their car, like he said, they're washing their cars on a regular time, the music's not going crazy, I'm not against it, because the car wash is a business.
Correct.
I'm not against that.
Yeah, none of us are.
I'm against is the noise, I'm already sick and tired of losing my tenants, okay? I don't want to lose tenants, especially good tenants. Today is very hard to get some good tenants, okay? And going outside in my yard, I can't even put a picnic table outside my yard because the music drives you nuts. So you can't even put your little music if you want your kids because you're afraid what's coming out of that music sound or what's swearing, especially, you know. So a lot of times he's there, a lot of times he's not there.
Sure.
And it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
You know, I can't just say it's happening right now. Honestly, this week has been, you know, because I think the office has been around there once in a while. But, you know, officers make a lot of money. The city ain't gonna pay an officer to be there watching this car wash. Like I said, put a chain on it. I don't wanna hear no more hours, because they got quarters. They can use that machines anytime they want. That vacuum is too close to that greenhouse. It is. It is too close. It's 21 feet. And if you take their car away, will they park right next to the house? Because it comes like 16 feet. That car wash is going. Their music's going at the same time, and sometimes they're talking loud. That's what I'm against. You know, he said, I've been there almost, well, I've been there 30, my wife's been there over 40 before I was in the house. Years ago, yes, we didn't have a problem with this car wash, because for some reason, the people years ago were different. I'm not saying they were better than them, no. I'm saying it was different. I guess maybe the respect was different. I don't know. Nobody cares anymore.
We understand.
And I can't go by that. It is what it is. I can't go by that. I'm sorry. I don't live by that symbol.
We get it. Councilor Dion has a question.
So, just to put this in perspective, your issue is the noise,
It's
the
the,
vacuums, the loud music.
yes.
If neither one of those two existed, and only the car wash existed, you wouldn't have an issue with the car wash being
No, I
open
don't.
24 hours a day,
No.
because it doesn't make noise.
Because it doesn't make as much noise. When they run into the wash, it's not as noisy. You know, it's not even, but car washes years ago in the 70s were, you know, everybody used to go hang at the car wash.
Right.
You know, it was the thing. But that car wash, it's that noise. That music is killing that, and that vacuum is killing. Yes, can he get a very quiet vacuum? I don't know.
Well,
But it's too loud.
I guess,
It's too loud.
so again, my point is that I was trying to make before was, we do have a noise ordinance from 10, as Council Pelletier said, from 10 PM to 7 AM. There's a noise ordinance in effect. If the music violates the ordinance, the vacuums violate the ordinance, we certainly can address the noise issue.
Yeah, but during the day, the noise is extremely, you know, sometimes it's extremely loud. I'm talking about loud. Honestly, you can feel, if you're in the house, I lived in that house, that's my first apartment when she lives. I lived there for, but that was years ago. It was different. He knows that we never complained. Okay? So it's been, I could been complaining. I've been, what, 3, 4 years ago, I've been complaining, but I don't know this is how to get around because I'm not educated. Sorry to say, but I'm not educated. I'm a
It's quite all
labor
right.
man.
Will you, listen, we're at a different point right now. We're gonna try to get you.
It's the noise. That noise gotta go away, and the vacuum noise gotta go away. I'm sorry. I don't wanna hear this music anymore. I know he can't stop. He's gotta have a gun to stop it.
All right.
Well,
Thank you.
we certainly can't shut the vacuums off during the day.
I'm not saying all of them. It's basically, because if you look at the other car wash, where the street is, you got the street, you got the house, then you got still a little bit on this property, and that vacuum is away from that property. But that one is right where the house is. That's what, you know, that's what you gotta look at. And like I said, it can be 11 o'clock, it can be 1 o'clock, it can be 2 o'clock. That thing turns on. The lady sleeps right there, and any tenants can hear it, and then they put the music louder. It's crazy.
You're upset with me.
I'm not upset with anyone, but we're gonna do this in a
Well,
respectful
but yeah.
manner. I understand this contention. Please don't say anything. She has the floor. She's asking him questions. That's all I want, peace with everybody. I'm not upset.
I'm
with anybody.
not.
So again, anybody trying to sleep at 10 PM or later certainly should not be woken up by vacuums.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah.
And that's something that we potentially can do something about. Vacuums during the day, there's nothing you can do about vacuums
Yeah.
during the day. I mean, a car wash is a car wash, that people have to be able to vacuum their cars.
Yeah.
The noise from the boom boxes, that's a separate issue. Believe me, I get and understand that very loud music can ruin your day and create havoc, especially if it's all the time. I understand that.
You know,
Not
they,
sure what we can or can't do about that,
Can I-
but at least I think we're getting to the point of the subject.
Can I
It's
say-
the noise.
Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
one thing? What would happen if I shut those vacuums off at night, the ones near his house? Would that help any, or?
It's a possibility. We
Right.
wouldn't know what would happen until you did it.
Right. Well, I think, you know, I could do that. I
Okay.
could shut those two vacs off of there, because he's saying the other ones are not
no, it's
problem.
still,
It's the ones near his house.
Right.
So there's two vacuums there. So if I turn the
So you're
power
willing to
off
do
to
that?
them, sure.
Okay.
Would that be something that you, that
no,
would,
yeah, I want that shut off. But if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, if he opens at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's 7 o'clock when he opens in the morning. Not him dragging barrels at 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That wakes up the people too, because how many ought to hear it?
The only thing I want to say is that one in particular, it's one stand of vacuums with two vacuums attached.
Then I let
Now,
me
there's-
put a little on it.
There's other vacuums in the place, those don't bother me. That one in particular vacuum is 20.4 feet from my house. I measured it attached the measurement to my screen and went all the way to the mortar, the brick mortar on his thing, was 20.4 feet. Now, if you put a 6-foot car, just let's say the car's 6 foot, now you're talking it's 15 feet. That's why that music's, because it's like they're
that-
like
okay,
that.
so let me ask you this.
When I,
So we're at a point, I think, we have one agreement, perhaps. This gentleman is willing to shut the vacuum that's causing the biggest problems down
Yep, not a
between
problem.
10 PM and 7 AM?
Exactly, yes.
Are you willing to have him do that to see if that's going to help your issues and the ongoing problems?
yes.
Is that something, go ahead.
Yes, that's something, but to go on even further than that, because it's so close. 15 feet, some people, I bet you, in their home, their walls are 15 feet apart. Never mind having a vacuum, a vehicle, and noise going, because this is my bedroom in my house. So when I ask customers why that vacuum in particular is the one used to the fullest, is because they tell me that house provides them shade and shelter from the wind. So that house there is why everybody goes to that one in particular vacuum, even though, like, he's got so much property, they have so much property, that one vacuum could potentially be moved somewhere else. I understand it's grandfathered in, all this stuff. Had that been built now, especially with technology now, that would never be allowed to be that close to somebody's house.
And you may be correct, unfortunately. It's one of
But
those,
laws
it is
get
what it
changed.
is, well, true.
And what was built
But
first,
again, my
the house or the
question
car
is,
wash?
if he's willing to do that, and he does do that, are you willing to give it the opportunity to see if it makes a significant difference?
No.
And see if we can somehow also address the loud music?
Yeah, absolutely. So the signs are on the side, they need to be facing in the front. Like I was saying, the only one time he did see me in my window, and he went over and asked somebody to turn, that's the only time in a whole year that I saw him do that, and the people did turn it down.
If they-
Okay,
if it's
we're gonna move this
accessible-
along because we only have 10 minutes left and we have other
With
people
that,
that are
I'll
gonna come
yield.
down. Thank you, Counselor.
Okay.
All right, so you guys can go back to your seats. You probably have to stay here for a second, if you don't mind. Mr. Hatter, you want to come down? Mr. Howiak, you want to come down as well? I'm sure you're here for this. The license board members want
I'm
to come
willing
down
to
at this
shut those
point or
two
not?
vacs off, you know.
You don't have to.
It's gonna make life easy for everybody.
Be nice.
I'm gonna walk in the chair.
You can slide down, sir. You can slide down.
I can slide down, okay.
All right, I'm not sure who I want to begin with. Does anyone want to begin, or has anyone, you guys talked about this, or? Name and address for the record, please.
Glenn Hathaway, One Government Center, Building Commissioner for the City of Fall River.
It's all you.
It's all me. So I was informed by Councilor Pelletier that there was a complaint at the car wash. I have addressed it with this gentleman, asking him to be considerate, and if he hears any noise while people are vacuuming, to address it and to stop it. He's put signs up. He has cooperated, to my knowledge, cooperated. I drive by there on a regular basis. I live not too far from there. Since this noise has been brought to my attention, I'm obviously monitoring it, and I go by there quite frequently. I haven't noticed anything, but I'm not living there. But if I do see it, I will address it. I'll be the first to call the police department. I've spoken with Officer Chelsea in regards to this in the police chief's office. I'll let them explain what they're doing, but we are monitoring it and we are addressing it thus far. I'm not sure if it's helping because I'm not there on a regular basis, but I'm there.
Mr. Hathaway, what's the latest you've ever gone by there?
Excuse me?
What's the latest you've ever gone by there at night? 9:30, 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Due to my age, I'm going home earlier, but
I hear you.
At 6.
The jam was on at 7.
Well, Gary Howick, Assistant Corporation Counsel for the City of Fall River. I think I'm more here to answer questions that you may have, so I'm going to let the people who really know what's going on answer the questions.
Thank you.
Sure, I can jump in here. I'm Bardeen Castro. I'm a captain with the Fall River Police Department. Seems like there's kind of two issues here. One issue is the business itself for those vacuum cleaners, and it seems that you might have worked out at least a solution, and we'll see how that goes forward. I think the other problem that we have is the patrons making noise, loud radios at inappropriate hours. Detective Campolone's been working on that, and we put out to the Uniform Division to have cruisers go by there as they can to check the business. The property manager here has been cooperative. He's put up some signs against loitering and trespassing, so he's worked with us on that aspect of it. I can tell you that from when we were notified on June 15th until June 24th, we've done 26 business checks there at various hours, ranging from midnight, I'm just looking here, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 7 at night, 11 in the morning, 3 in the morning, midnight again, 9 in the morning, and we have not found the problem there at the times that we've gone by. Obviously, we're not stationed there all the time, but the sector cars in the area and the Special Operations Division guys who go by there are checking in and keeping an eye on the noise level, on people congregating, and on any of the problems that might affect the quality of life for the residents over there.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a meter machine? What's the decibel count?
We do not have a meter machine.
Okay, so we wouldn't have a chance of seeing what the decibel count would be if there was someone there doing very loud music while the vacuum was running. It wouldn't be,
Correct, we wouldn't be able to measure that.
Okay.
We did reach out to the state police. My understanding is that they have a machine, and kind of the word that I got back from the person who called them, it's tens of thousands of dollars, I guess, for these calibrated machines, and there's quite the waiting list.
yeah.
to,
I've heard
to
people talk
get it
about
come
them.
down.
I don't think I've ever seen one in place, so I'm just
Correct.
curious as to whether we had one or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you purchased one in the last 2 years.
No, but obviously, I mean, if an officer's there and it's loud to that officer, and it's disrupting what he feels is disrupting the community, he'll issue a citation, summons, or arrest, depending on the circumstances.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Howiak, the gentleman has agreed, I think, through Councilor Dion, to shut off one of the vacuums
I'll shut the
completely.
2 of them off.
Two of
Two
them.
on an island.
Okay,
I'll
so
shut
those
the
two close to the house.
Right.
Now, how long are you going to keep them off for? Indefinitely?
Well, I'll keep them off from 10 at night till 7 in the morning, right?
Okay, and it'll run during the day?
Yeah, during the day.
Okay. Other than that, what can this council do? Can we create a license for car washes and regulate the hours of operation in the future, or?
You may be able to do that. I just don't know if this one incident that might be rectified by the voluntary acts of the owner would warrant legislation on.
And I would agree with you. I don't want to go down that road too unless it's absolutely necessary.
I did look quickly up the noise ordinances. I didn't actually see anything regarding decibel readings with regard to our ordinances. So I don't think a decibel reader would necessarily be beneficial anyway. But just so you know, the noise ordinance does say all noises that menace the health or interrupt or disturb the sleep of the residents between those hours. You were talking about one of the gentlemen was saying, something like 7 o'clock in the morning, it's still waking up people. Well, in the technical sense, we could run our lawnmowers at that hour. I mean, that's the way our ordinances read. So I hate to say it is what it is, but that's kind of what you said about, dealing with what it is. I would always approach the problem that you are doing right now with the,
Cooperation from the people.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I think
I
that's
agree.
exactly what you're doing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone have anything further to add? Okay.
Mr. Chairperson,
Council Pelletier?
just a little bit.
Sure.
You know, if you're willing to actually maybe shut the doors at 8 o'clock, and we're not looking for that.
What doors?
The place, the business.
Oh,
I mean,
business?
that's a Band-Aid approach that you told us. You're gonna shut it off. You're still
Well,
gonna
that's what they're complaining about. They're complaining about the two
They're complaining
vacuums.
about everything. They're complaining about swearing,
Yeah, they just-
talking too loud, everything.
They just
Everything.
agreed to it, though.
What's that?
They just agreed to it. For me,
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. We're gonna be back here in 2 months again. The best thing, the easiest thing, put the chain up and close up. 10 to 7. Everything's all squared away. That's it. That's it. But, I mean, if you wanna go on and go on, they're gonna go on. They're not happy, and they're gonna complain all the time. So you do something right to straighten it out, and that's the way to do it. You tell your boss. I yield.
Thank you, Counselor. So, I mean, as Attorney Howiak just instructed us, I don't think we can do anything to force them to do that right now. That's my belief. If we need to see that there's a need for that in the future, then you're right, we'll come back, they will come back, we will come back, and then we'll have to see what else we can do to, make the neighborhood a little bit less disruptive, I guess. So I appreciate you monitoring it. I would hope that you try to stay on top of it more and let's see what we can do to help these people, give them some relief, although maybe no one's complained the last 40 years, they're complaining now. Might be different people, different circumstance, different time. But we have to, as a body, see what we can do to ease.
I understand that.
the
I
neighborhood
understand 100%,
complaints.
yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna shut off those vacuums, and then we'll go from there and
See
we'll
what
see what
happens.
happens.
Sounds
Thank
like a
you very
plan.
much. Appreciate it. Anyone here want to add anything?
I'd
No?
like to say one more thing.
Okay.
Because they keep talking about the noise ordinance that allows noise between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. I'm talking about something in the law that's a little harsher than that. It goes up and it's quoted, public health. It's a public health.
It's in the noise ordinance. He addressed it. It comes to that level. And the police officer uses their discretion in what is considered a public health with the noise at that point of view.
I understand
That point in time.
But if someone can't have a normal conversation because they're in a heightened sense of disturbance, because they're aggravated all day, every day.
Yeah.
I understand people go by, and at times it is quiet. And I will say, since police have been coming by and people notice, I notice there is a lot less traffic at the car wash, which he's losing money and that's what he's
Okay.
complaining. And now that they
Yeah,
see
nobody's worried about
police
that.
presence and it's more
Okay.
prevalent, it has been a little less.
Right.
And he's been now more approaching people, which he never did, but those little
That's not
signs have to
true.
be there.
Thank you.
Have to be at least
All right.
a step.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate your input.
Thank you.
So should we make a motion to vote,
We could make a motion.
see how it works
Whatever
out?
you want to do, I would say make a motion to leave to withdraw, because if we're going to table it, I mean, we might have to see it again. If we have to bring it back, we'll bring it back. Under the resolution.
So, did both parties agree that those vacuums can be shut down? We'll see how that affects things or doesn't, if things get better. So with that, I would make the motion to withdraw, and we'll move forward. And if they feel they need to bring it back at some point, we're here.
Motion has been made to give it leave to withdraw and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn is made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
All right? You guys have a good night.
You too.